Let's see, you're all ready to buy a house, right? Or maybe not. Maybe you've just started to think about buying. Maybe you've been tooling around online, but instead of gaining a clear direction to the home of your dreams, you're just getting bogged down in information overload. Well, good news. Whether you're a first-time buyer or you've bought 20 homes, this short video will give you the inside scoop on how to buy a home for the best value with the least aggravation on your timetable. Now, one word of warning. What you're going to hear in the next few minutes is going to challenge the conventional wisdom on how to buy a home. That's because the incredible growth of technology over the last few years has changed everything in real estate, from how to best find the home that you're looking for to the vital role that a real estate professional can and should play in the home purchasing process. In today's environment, it's vital that you understand how the real estate market really works because, sadly, the traditional way of buying a home usually results in wasted time on wasted trips, not getting the home you really want, overpaying, or worse, losing thousands of dollars in deposit money. There is another way, a better way to buy a home, and if you want to get the best value, the inside secret is to avoid the biggest mistake that buyers make over and over again. And here it is. Drum roll, please. Spending all of your time up front trying to find a home rather than taking the time at the beginning of the process to find a teammate, an advocate, someone you trust who can really guide you because they've taken the time to understand your unique goals and needs. Think about this. A seller would never dream of hiring an agent without interviewing them first. And buyers should do nothing less because here's the news. When you find the right teammate, someone who will consult with you, not sell to you, finding the right home will take care of itself and with much better results, both in getting the home you really want while expending the least amount of money and time. To get a sense of this, let's look at how buyers have traditionally bought homes. I call it the Lone Ranger approach. Maybe you've had the experiences too. Traditionally, home buyers have spent countless hours scouring newspapers and every home's magazine they could get their hands on, giving up every Sunday to attend open houses and calling on every for sale sign they drove by. And in recent years, you can add to that all the time spent surfing on a multitude of property search sites just trying to get the information they need, with the end result, more often than not, of finally locating what they thought was their dream home after it had been sold to someone else. How did this happen? They invested so much time, but it seems like they were constantly missing out. Well, the truth is that without an inside teammate, buyers have often missed out over the years. You see, no matter the real estate market, and even with today's technology, finding a home is very much like looking for a job. Most of us know that the best jobs never get advertised. They're scooped up by people who have an employment agent or someone on the inside looking for them. It's the same in real estate. Let's look at a scenario that happens all the time when you go the Lone Ranger approach. You drive by a house that looks interesting and you call the number on the sign. And whoever picks up the phone, well, that's your new agent for the day. You ask if you can see the house and the agent is happy to oblige. Traditionally, that's the way it's done, but there's an inherent problem. If you wait until you find a house to call an agent, they don't know anything about you or your needs. They aren't going to advocate for you, and they certainly can't represent you. So all they can really be for you is a tour guide. This is the kitchen. This is the bath. And if you wish to make an offer, well, they can be a secretary. What price do you want to offer? What terms? Because they have no relationship with you, they're not inclined to provide counsel on the market or give you a knowledgeable opinion of what the property is actually worth. Very simply, in the traditional scenario, the agent's only goal is to sell you a house. Preferably that house, and preferably that day. Now, this isn't because they're a bad person, but they don't know you, and they have absolutely no assurance that they'll ever see you again. Forget getting paid, so they really need to leverage their time. And frankly, if an agent did start giving you advice, how much could you really believe given that you have no relationship? On the other hand, if you take the time to interview and hire a real estate professional to represent you, finding someone you trust and feel comfortable with, what you get when you do go out to look at homes is a teammate. Remember, when you retain a buyer agent, they're not working with you, they're working for you. Because you are a client, not a customer, their goal is to use their expertise to get you the right house for the right price in the time frame that will meet your goals. But wait a minute, how much more does it cost to have your own agent? Well, good news again. Zip, zilch, nada. You see, overwhelmingly, real estate fees are built right into the price of a home. This means that when you buy a home, you pay for real estate services right in the proceeds. Whether you have an agent who is just acting as a tour guide and secretary, or your own buyer agent who can represent your needs and advocate for you. You should never have to pay any more to have your own representation. During an initial consultation or interview, a good buyer agent will ask you a lot of questions to understand your goals, expectations, and needs. They should discuss agency in the buying process, and you should have the opportunity to assess their knowledge, values, and the services they provide. After this consultation, if you decide to hire them to represent you, you can relax knowing that you've just hired yourself a true teammate, someone who will advocate for you and be with you every step of the way. Now, doesn't this consultative approach sound a lot better than the traditional sales approach? And you know, there are other reasons finding a teammate early in the process just makes sense. First of all, if you're on property search services, you may figure that you can just call an agent when you see a property you like. Unfortunately, most of these search facilities only encompass properties listed on the Multiple Listing Service or MLS. And while the MLS represents most available homes, it doesn't include all of them. With today's technology, some sellers opt to go it alone or list their home in places other than the MLS. If you hire a buyer agent who is active in your market, they can not only make these properties known to you, but more importantly, as a buyer agent, they can research them and advocate and guide you if you want to explore any of them further. Secondly, the best real estate professionals network with other professionals. We agents often find out about properties that will be coming on the market but aren't yet, and can give our clients the heads up on these properties. But the only way that works is if we know you and you're a client. Remember earlier when I compared the hidden job market to the hidden housing market? They really do work the same. If you have an inside teammate, you don't miss out. The third reason for hiring a professional early on is all about looking in the right places. You see, unless you actually work in the real estate market day to day, it's very difficult to discern which communities are on the upswing or on the downswing. You may pick cities or towns that are well established, but because of changing demographics, don't offer long-term value. At the same time, you may exclude towns that, because of location or who's moving in, are real up-and-comers and are a great buy. In other words, communities often change faster than public perception. A real estate professional can advise you what communities offer the services, schools, or houses of worship that are important to you, and of course, which ones offer you the best long-term value. Remember, while the internet can provide information, what it can never do is interpret it. And despite advertising claims to the contrary, the internet is not an experienced real estate professional. It cannot consult, counsel, have knowledge of local laws and market conditions, make judgments, own the results, and most importantly, understand your individual goals and needs and care about you as a client. Well, I hope this presentation has encouraged you to start the buying process off right by first finding a teammate. It's the inside secret to getting the best value when you buy a home.